Hello. Oh, I keep going out of focus and I have no idea why. What's it focusing on? All right. Technical difficulties. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Prep Talk Live Show. If it's your first time here, my name is Kissa. I'm an entrepreneur based in Southern California in the burbs of Los Angeles. And I do this live show just basically to share my journey, contribute to my community of entrepreneurs, and just kind of be a resource for you just in case you need someone to talk to or need to bounce ideas off someone. So I come here onto the Prep Talk Live Show to plan for my week, talk about takeaways from the week before, and plan what I have ahead, as well as just kind of discuss a few little nuggets of information that, I took away from the previous week or certain messages that I get on social media about certain topics that people want me to go over. This is when I do that. So, welcome. And if you're catching this replay, I will have chapter markers in the description below, and you'll be able to jump from topic to topic if you don't want to watch the whole thing and listen to me ramble for about 45 minutes to an hour. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's talk about this past week. So, if you watched last week's episode, you know that Micah, my son, turned 2 on Sunday. I can't believe he's 2. Let's just say that. And that's all I'll say about it. And if you want to read more, if you want to see our journey about raising Micah and the joy that he brings to our life, follow me on Instagram because my feed is basically a balance of entrepreneur stuff and him. So you're more than welcome to check it out. But anyway, he turned 2 on Sunday and we had a party for him on Saturday. And it was the first time that we've been able to celebrate anything for him basically since my baby shower, since we had our baby shower in 2020 of January. So it's been a long time, and we decided that we wanted to open up our home, celebrate in our backyard, and just have close friends and family over to celebrate that we have kept a baby alive for 2 years and all the joy that he brings to our lives. So it was wonderful, but last week was basically focused on preparation for that. We were running errands basically every single day last week, on top of, doing business things like wholesale orders, online orders, and all of that stuff. We were also in the background prepping for his birthday party. So that was what the focus was last week. And it was a little bit stressful, of course. I mean, party planning is a full-time job in itself. So that's that. And I'm glad that it's over. But I do have to say, as nervous as I was to have so many people over, because it's been such a long time to be a host to a party like that, as anxiety ridden as it was also such a joy to be around loved ones and to be able to celebrate something as a community. There's really nothing like in-person interaction, right? This is great also, and I'm so glad that I'm able to do this and share digitally, but also there's just nothing like human interaction and physical touch. So that was very nice to be able to be around people. It was a great time. And the best part I want to say, my favorite part of his party on Saturday, there was two things. One, watching him blow out his candles. He was so excited to blow out his candles for his birthday cake. And we did not practice or anything like that, but everyone started singing happy birthday and he just knew. He just started blowing out the candles and it was the cutest thing. So that was definitely a highlight for me. And then the other highlight from his party was just hearing him laugh and scream and yell from pure joy and happiness just lit up my heart, and it just made me so happy because as a pandemic kid, he doesn't get to be, or he hasn't been able to be around a lot of people and a group setting like that. And I can tell he's a people person. Now that especially he's kind of coming into his own and his personality is developing, and we're really starting to see who he is as an individual. He's just such an outgoing kid. He likes to wave at other kids. He likes to say hi to people. He loves, watching others, laughing at other people's jokes and all of that stuff. So he's just a lovable kid. And that brought me so much joy for people to be around him, because I can tell it made him so happy. So that was the biggest highlight from the weekend. And then yesterday was really nice. We just, stayed in, had to clean up a lot. We're still in cleanup mode today, actually. From the remnants of the party, but it was nice. It was kind of just a family focused day. We stayed home. He got to open his presents. We did kind of a balloon little wake up, where he had balloons all over his playroom area, and all his gifts were wrapped and sitting there waiting for him. And it was so cute when Charlie carried him out of his room, and he just saw the balloons and the presents, and his eyes just lit up, and he pointed straight to the room and was like, "Take me there. I want to go there." So yeah, it was a nice Sunday for us to celebrate just as a family unit. So that was really nice. So that was our week. It was hectic, super hectic, and then relaxing. So I feel like that's just the pattern of our lives in general. But yeah, it was nice. So this upcoming week, let's jump into it, like kind of what we have planned and what's going on with life this upcoming week. Let me open up my calendar really quick. So things have gotten a little bit busier for me, which is a great thing. I'm so grateful. We have a lot of things in the pipeline and a lot of things that we're kind of working on, which is cool. But I have tons of meetings this week. We have some family time on Friday and Saturday. We're actually going to Disneyland. Yes, I forgot about that. We're going to Disneyland on Friday. But usually we take Fridays off from work anyway. So the whole plan, the goal is basically to get all work done by Thursday so that we can just focus on family time, enjoying Disney with Micah, and our my brother and sister-in-law are coming as well on Friday. So we just want to spend time with family, have a great time, and make memories, and not focus on work on that Friday. So it's going to be kind of a short week because today's President's Day, but sometimes we work on Mondays, sometimes we don't. But that means we just have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to really focus and get ish done. So that's what we're going to do. And then the following week after that is going to be, oh my gosh, we're gearing up into Easter, y'all. Wow, I can't believe it. So Easter is April 17th. All right. And then I just saw on my holiday calendar that Ash Wednesday is not this coming week, but next week. So I can't believe we're going into Easter season already. But that reminds me that, Easter is a celebration for some people, and we tend to be a little bit busy because of, the celebrations and people wanting to place order for desserts. So that's something that is just a gentle reminder for me that we have to start moving our marketing efforts toward, platters, cakes, all that stuff, and encouraging people to pre-order for their Easter pickups. So great reminder. All right. So that is what we got planned for this week. Let's go ahead and go into my Notion setup as usual. So let me close these out really quick. Hi, babe. Oh, my husband's watching. He's probably in the living room now that Micah is taking his nap. Okay, so let's share screen here. As usual, here is my Notion setup. So I am using, so the browser you'll see looks kind of different. I'm using this application called Shift, and Shift allows me to have, my multiple email inboxes open as well as different apps open. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure if I like it better than a regular browser or not. I'm still kind of feeling it out, and truth be told, especially because I am not working full time, like I'm not in front of my computer all day long, I'm not utilizing it as most people probably would. So I don't really have an in-depth review on Shift just yet, but I know that when work kind of gets a little bit busier, which I'm hoping and have the feeling that it will in the next coming months, we'll see how productive or how it affects my workflow, if it helps at all over time. So I'll let you guys know, but I'm using Shift, and that's why you see these things on the left hand side. All right, so let's go into our weekly agenda. Let's go to today, and we're going to create a new weekly template as usual. And it's going to be from February 21st with an end date of the 27th. And then I'm just going to fill this in. 27th. And then I'm going to open these up. We'll go over those. And then let's filter. So the date for my daily journals is on or after the 21st. And as you can see, it's blank now because I don't have any daily journals set up yet for this week. And then let's filter our tasks for on or before Sunday. Perfect. All right. So let's go through this from top to bottom as usual. So this week's affirmation, I'm going to pull out my deck of affirmation cards, courtesy of Affirmation Darling. All right. So let me look here to make sure you guys can see. Okay. So I got these cards from Affirmation Darling. It's a brand that was a vendor at one of the pop-ups we sold at, and I love to use their affirmations because I'm not good at creating them for myself, and these just kind of help me not have to think about it and just pick one. So I'm shuffling them really quick, and then let's pick a card here. I'm gonna pick this one, and it says, I will stay positive in the face of rejection, and I will not let it get in the way of my goals. Ooh, I will stay positive in the face of rejection, and I will not let it get in the way of my goals. Let's put this here. So I put my affirmation into my daily journal, into my weekly agenda at the very top, so that it's always at the forefront. And if anything, even if I don't say it out loud, because some people feel uncomfortable about that or feel weird talking to themselves, at least it's there for me to read it. So let's put it in here. I will stay positive in the face of rejection, and I will not let it get in the way of my goals. Boom. Okay, so that's this week's affirmation. This week, I'm going to focus on work Tuesday through Thursday, for Disney on Friday. And then we need to do a lot of cleanup from the party. So clean up post party. And then, is there anything else I want to focus on this week? Oh, we have a bid for a catering event. Catering event bid. I really want to get that solidified so we know whether or not we're going to be catering for that particular party. All right. So shopping list, things that we need. I know that there's something that Charlie said that we need. I can't think of it at the moment. But I add to this shopping list as we go so that if there's anything that pops into my head, I just put it. Oh, I remember. Diaper Genie liners. Okay. All right. So let's do our daily journal. Today is Monday, 2/21/22. I can't believe Micah's 2. That's insane. It's gone by so fast. And I don't know if you guys use or, have an Apple TV or anything like that, or you're intertwined into the Apple ecosystem. But so we have an Apple TV, and our screensaver is my favorite photos from my photo album. And it just randomly shuffles the pictures so that you can watch it whenever the screensaver goes on. And it's one of my favorite things when we pause the TV and then the screensaver just turns up and I see pictures from the past, and it just brings me all back. And I love seeing Micah's like little newborn and infant photos. Oh, it makes me so happy. And whenever I see them, it just feels like yesterday. And I'm sure every parent says that, but it literally does just feel like yesterday. It's so crazy how quickly kids grow up. It's the blink of an eye. Anyway, so today I'm grateful for Micah's belly laughs. Oh man. So I posted this video on Instagram yesterday. I created a post in honor of his birthday last night, and I shared a video of him in a car driving through a number 2 balloon. And the reason I posted it was mostly because his laugh in the background just makes me so happy. And so I just wanted to have it there as, almost an ear marker of if I ever feel sad, all I need to do is just play that video and it just lifts my spirits. So I'm so grateful for his pure joy and like his laugh and his expressions. No matter how sad I might be, which thankfully I have been quite content and very happy recently. But on any day you feel down, just listen to his laugh and it'll make you feel so much better. All right, I am feeling thankful. I'm feeling excited and happy. Okay. And then today's focus is to clean up the mess. Okay. Clean is my theme for the day. And water. Oh, I haven't drank water yet today. I have my cup of coffee, but I haven't even had a sip of water. And it's already 1 p.m. That is no good. So we've got to work on that. I got to fill up my Hydro Flask so I can at least get 2 Hydro Flasks in today. All right. Connect I haven't done. I want to have some time to do either prayer or meditation or a devotional or something like that today. Haven't done that. I have checked my calendar. I know what's on there. And I have cleaned up a little bit, but Lord knows, there is lots of cleaning that needs to do. Okay, so today I will take down the canopy in the backyard so that it doesn't get weathered. So we used our pop-up tent for a canopy over the weekend, and if we leave it out, the top, the actual canopy itself, it'll get weathered in the sun. So I want to make sure we take that down. What else do I need to do? Oh, I will run the robot vacuum. Actually, I need to say I will clean up the toys and kalat. So kalat in Filipino is mess. So I'll clean up the toys and kalat throughout the house so that the robot vacuum can run tonight. And then the third thing I will do is I will put away the clean dishes so that the kitchen looks less cluttered. So we catered our own birthday party, which I was hesitant to do, but Charlie was almost he's an amazing cook. So I knew he would want to make something, and I'm sure when you're within your industry, it's hard to hire out when you know you can do it yourself for a fraction of the price. So I was planning on having someone cater, and then we changed our mind because we had ideas of what we wanted to serve. And so we were just like, forget it. We'll just make the food ourselves. And so we ended up doing that, but our kitchen is a mess. Our kitchen is now a mess. Thank God for my dad, because he has been helping us clean up and washing dishes for us, and, just helping in general to keep it at bay. It would be a lot worse if we didn't have the help, but we still have a ton of cleanup to do. So the kitchen is one of kind of my trigger areas in the house, because there's so many things that we have in there because we're in the food industry. We're in the kitchen so often, and we have so many little, utensils, and we have a bunch of appliances and pans and spoons and like all these things. So everything needs to find a home. And when it's not in its place, it just immediately looks cluttered to me. So it makes me feel like if that area is cluttered, like if the kitchen is cluttered, the rest of the house is just a mess. But I know it bleeds out of the kitchen because we need so much space. So it starts in the kitchen, and then we end up putting stuff on the dining table, and then we move stuff that was already on the dining table onto the shelf right next to it, and then we move stuff to the coffee table. It starts to bleed out. So I feel like if I start with the kitchen, then I can incrementally work on cleaning little by little throughout this week. So today's focus will be the kitchen, and then tomorrow might be a different area, and then so on and so forth. So all I have aside from these focuses, all I have on my task list is to go over my goals today, which I did with you guys in the last live show. So I'm going to do that after we end the show today. That way I don't bore you guys with doing it again. And then these are the things that I need to do after post show. Also, I need to fill up my hydro flask, like I said, and I carry around a 40-ounce hydro flask. So ideally I want to drink 3 of those a day. And now that it's gonna be, by the time this live show ends, it'll probably be around 1:45 or 2 o'clock, and I might be able to squeeze in 2, but that is not good. I want to have at least 2. And then if I have the room, have 3. So tomorrow needs to be better. I need to remind myself to fill up my water first thing in the morning, or at least have a glass of water first thing in the morning, because then I won't feel so, dehydrated and thirsty. And then, you know how it goes. The later you drink water, the harder it is, because then your bladder is completely full. All right, 30 minutes of activity. That's definitely going to be cleaning this week. I want to start doing yoga again. So I might do a little bit of that today as well. Actually, no, I'm not going to say might. I am going to do yoga today, even if it's just a short practice. I think I'm going to do some yoga after, as long as Micah Oh, Lord. As long as Micah cooperates tonight when he goes to bed. Last night, he was obviously officially 2 years old. And I have to tell you, he is not, he has been recently, but historically, he has not been a good sleeper. He's always the type that wakes up multiple times at night. Lately, he'll wake up maybe once, and that is pretty good for us. And luckily, because Charlie wants to have the baby monitor on his side, so he always hears it first, and he ends up going into his room and soothing Micah when he wakes up in the middle of the night. Sometimes he will, sometimes he won't. He used to wake up multiple times, so it was just the thought of him sleeping in his own room was just because we would have to go in and out of our own room. But now he's a lot better compared to before. But yesterday, it took him over an hour to get settled to go to sleep. And by the time he was asleep, it was almost 10:30 at night. And I don't know if it's because of, just coming down from the high of his birthday party and all the new toys that he got. I'm hoping that that's what it is. But all this to say, he has gone through every sleep regression that there could be out there. Like, anytime I Googled, like, why isn't my 6-month-old sleeping? Why isn't my 9-month-old sleeping? Why isn't my 1-year-old sleeping? It was, first thing always shows up is sleep regression. And I was like, dang, he went through every single one. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 18 months. He went through every single one of them. And I'm praying to God that he doesn't go through the 2-year-old sleep regression, because I heard it gets pretty bad. So I'm hoping yesterday was a fluke. But I literally laid in next to his bed in his room for over an hour. And it never takes him that long to sleep. Or it hasn't in a really long time. Basically, since his last sleep regression, it hasn't taken him over an hour. It might take him 30 minutes or 40. And that's usually the extent of it. But yesterday, and it was a fight, it was just a fight to keep him to keep him in his bed. He wanted to lay next to me. He wanted to hold on to his truck. He didn't want to let go of it. Then he would fall asleep for a second. He would hit himself in the face with the truck, and then he would start crying all over again. It was just a hot mess. And so I'm really hoping that he doesn't go through another sleep regression, because this mama ain't got the time for that, y'all. It just over an hour, Lord Almighty help me. Like, it's just, anyway. So if that does happen and he does go through a sleep regression, that's when activity and plans like that really kind of get hard, because it's already hard to do any type of thing for myself while he's awake. But if he he doesn't sleep when he usually does, that's when I try to cram in personal time, because I naturally don't like to work at night. I'm not that productive at night compared to before. I used to be more of a night owl, and I would be more productive in the evenings. But now I'm more productive during the day. And so when the sun goes down, I don't want to be doing work-related things. I'd rather be doing personal things. And so, it's just, if he's up until 10:30 and I don't have a moment to myself until after 10:30, you think I'm going to be working out for 30 minutes at 10:30 p.m.? Heck nah, man. That's not going to happen. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But the thing I need to remind myself too is, if it doesn't go as planned, and if he does stay up till 10:30, 11, and that just like puts a wrench in the plans, I need to show myself a little more grace, because then I just get so hard on myself when I don't do it, because I just think I fail at everything. I fail at life because I didn't do what was on my calendar, and my son isn't sleeping like he should, and all those horrible thoughts, and that's not necessary. I need to just show myself a little more grace. All right. And then other daily self-care things that I want to do: prayer. Like I mentioned, that's going to be something I'm focusing on today because I didn't get to do that during my morning routine. At the end of the day, I like to put in an accomplishment. So I put it in my checklist here, but I record it here. Um, something small. It doesn't have to be something big, but something small that I've accomplished today that'll make me feel good about what I've done and make me feel a little bit productive. And then I also have right below it an observations area where if I just notice something about myself that I didn't think about in the past, I like to write it down because I like to learn more about myself. I'm not the type, I've always been one to enjoy self improvement, but on a very surface level. I like to intake a lot of the information, but I don't necessarily like to look within and see how it can benefit me. I just like to read about it or, you know, adopt a method, but seeing how it could really benefit my life. I know it could, but I don't know how to tailor it to me. So that's something that I've learned over the years, especially creating these systems within Notion and a digital system. I've learned a lot about myself and my habits and what works and the things that I don't mind, the behaviors I don't mind keeping. But I've had to note them. I've had to observe myself and say, oh, I'm right now in this season of life, I'm not a productive person at night. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. And that's something that I would write in that observations area where I can write, you're more productive during the day when the sun is out compared to at night. That's something I would write in that observations area. So that has been really beneficial to me also because at the end of the year, I look at my daily journals like this as a spreadsheet. And then I can always go into the observations and read through them. But if I don't fill them out, then there's nothing really for me to reflect on and look at. So, I'm not going to fill out those observations every day, but as long as I make an effort to note them down whenever I do notice things, then those will start to fill out slowly but surely. And actually, I didn't write that about myself yet in my observation. So let's do it right now. I'm more productive when the sun is out compared to the evenings. I know some people are more productive when the moon is out in darkness because they feel a little more laser focused. They're able to have the quiet that they need, but that's just not me. So not me right now, at least. I used to be, but not anymore. So that's an observation that I can put there. All right. Daily download. So the reason why I feel like I need this, and if you've never heard of a daily download before, it's basically just when it's a form of reflection, but where you just write down for a set amount of time all the thoughts in your head. You either write down or type it out. I tend to type it out because my thoughts move faster than my hand can move when writing with a pen. So I just type it out because I type faster than I write, and I just list down all the things without structure. So sometimes I'll just write, oh, I need to buy Diaper Genie diapers. I need to clean up my desk. The kitchen is a mess. I've been meaning to wipe down the countertops. When are we going to be able to paint the baseboards? I want to pay down my credit card. Like just random thoughts that are running through my head. And usually when you're not very comfortable with a daily download, it's usually because you're not used to being one with your own thoughts. And it always takes me a while. Whenever I take a break from doing these daily downloads, I'm not very honest, or I'm very surface level at the beginning. And so I started out with tasks, things that I need to get done so that I can start. You can start to write or you can start to type. And then the more you just are in the act of taking down these tasks, the more your mind will start to wander, and then you'll be able to open up a little bit more in a deeper daily download so you can really get to the root of certain things. So that's what I found about myself, because I tended to be like, the blank page for whatever reason tends to scare me a little bit. I need structure, or I'm uncomfortable with that much freedom, which is very interesting. And so, I had to start somewhere, and I always tended to start with tasks. And then after, like I said, once I start getting the tasks out of my head, more things come to the surface, because I'm able to take those tasks out of my brain and put them somewhere. And because I have free space, let's think of our brains like computer memory, right? Like, when you have more disk space, you can see things a little bit clearer, because you're filtering through all the things, and they're finally like getting removed from your disk space, so you can see more of what's down below. So that's how I personally start my daily downloads. I definitely find them very, very useful, because I am so absent-minded. And to tell you the truth, I feel like the reason why I forget things so fast and so easily is because I'm holding too much up here. And because of that, I can't, like, my capacity is already at its max, and then everything else slips through the cracks. Or there's just so much rubble, and there's so much junk on my junk pile that, like, I have to sort through it first before I can really organize, right? It's like when you clean out your closet, it obviously gets really ugly before it actually starts to look nice again. And it's the same idea with my brain. That's just how my brain works. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but it helps a lot. The daily download is more of like a cleaning of the closet for your mind. So if you feel overwhelmed or anxious or anything like that, try this daily download practice, and even just set a timer and start with 5 minutes. Set a timer for 5 minutes and start typing or writing nonstop until your timer goes off, and see what comes out. And the more you do it regularly, the less awkward you're going to feel. But I have to tell you, it does feel a little awkward at first, just because like I said, you're not used to being in your thoughts. I don't know if that's just me, but I tend to feel awkward with my own thoughts. And then that leads to reflection and my self-love journal. So I've talked about reflection multiple times. I'm not going to go into it, except for sharing with you guys, if you need your own reflection questions, just to prompt yourself on what to say during your reflection, here are mine. I have 7. I actually might even make this a little less, because it just, I feel like sometimes when there's too many, it just gets me, it wards me off wanting to do something when it feels so daunting because there's too many. But these are the questions that I have, and you can feel free to take whatever sounds good to you or feels good. All right, so there's my daily journal. I'm going to go back to our weekly agenda. So I have my daily journal set for today, and then here's my carbon copy of my calendar for this week, and then we have my tasks, and then my weekly reflection. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if I'm going to continue this weekly reflection, this one here. I might do monthly instead. I think a monthly recap makes more sense for me. So I think I'm going to just basically take these out of my weekly agenda and transfer them into my goals. That way I can do a goals reflection instead of weekly. Because realistically, man, to reflect daily and then weekly, I don't know. It feels like a lot to me. Maybe it's just me. All right. So that is the setup for this week. If you have any questions or want feedback on your setup, or want to just share, I love seeing other people's setups. That's basically one of the things I go onto YouTube for, is to see other people's productivity setups, because maybe there's something in my setup that would work for you, but maybe not the entire thing. So you can take bits and pieces from people as inspiration and create your own setup. So that's why I personally do these, because it's not, and I've said this so many times, but it's so true. Like, there's not one solution out there for everybody. And that is because all of our minds are wired differently. The way that I think is going to be very different from the way someone else thinks. And so if you want, that everyone talks about having that second brain system, right? Where it just runs like your own way of thinking to make it easier for you to be more productive. Well, if you want that type of setup, you're not going to be able to use just one pre-built system. It's just the truth, because the people that build out these systems, they're creating those systems based on how they work, in hopes that how they work will also work for you. And you might get super close, but you might be missing one or two things, or you might be missing a lot. And that's just because, like I said, everyone's brains are wired differently. So you got to find ways to cater these applications or these systems or these planners or journals to make it work so that you're at your most productive. So just take what you need. No shame in that. You're not stealing anything, and just use it so that you can be your best self and you can be as productive as you can be. I mean, you guys know through every single weekly live show, I have my system pretty good. I'm fairly happy with my system, yet I am far beyond, I'm far from being productive in my own right. I just have that system there so that it can help me as best as possible, so long as I use it. So, it's not a miracle worker, but it's there to be a tool for all of us to be a little bit better. All right. So last thing I want to go over for the last few minutes of the live show is the topic at hand, which is basically the importance of community within your community, your community of entrepreneurs. I used to think that it wasn't necessary. I think only because I was afraid to look for my community. I just felt like everyone that I came across in my industry was just so competitive, and I was intimidated. And because of that, I lost out on true friendships, great collaborations, and all those things, because what I should have done was I should have sought out people that thought like me. And if you're one of the people that don't think you need community, that you can do your thing all on your own, I call BS. Just saying. Because you can't. You could be a solopreneur. Yes, absolutely. But will someone else out there help you if you reached out? Would they make you better? Would they give you different angles of perspective on how to improve your business? 100%. They're going to be, because they think differently than you, they'll be able to look at your business, your life, or whatever it is that you need help with a whole new, fresh set of eyes. And you can't believe how invaluable that is. And how do you find that? You find people that are your peeps, your tribe, your community. And the only way to do that is to put yourself out there. So if you have, a pop-up coming up, I challenge you to talk to your fellow vendors, support them, buy from them, and strike up conversation with them to get to know them a little bit better. Because if you do, and you find that you connect with that person or you like their product, my challenge to you is to reach out to them and tell them and see what comes out of it. Because I can't tell you how many times over we have been blessed by our community out of their selflessness, out of their own kindness, out of their just willingness to help. And you know what it does? It makes me want to do the same for them with the same attitude, with no strings attached, with just that wanting and willingness to help them, to see our community succeed, because I'm all about community wins. Like I'm all about that. I am not the type of person that believes in crab mentality where for me to rise, that means I need to put you down. I do not believe that for 1 second. It goes against everything that I believe in. And I thought that was the industry that I was in. I thought that the industry that I was in was just a crab mentality industry, and it would never change and it would never go away. So whenever I walked around people, I was tiptoeing. I felt like I was walking on thin ice and just waiting for it to crack below me. And it would just break underneath me and I would drown in, in all the negativity. I thought that was my industry because the few people that I did encounter and meet, they were like that. And so it made me think the entire industry is like that. And I'm here to tell you that no, that's not true. You just have to try harder and not give up and look for the people that are within your community. And then on top of that, once you find them, don't let them go. Make an effort. Put it in your calendar to reach out to them and just say hi. Because if you make the effort to keep in contact, to be able to reach out to them, wish them happy anniversary on their business, a happy birthday on social media. If you continue to have those conversations, then that relationship will flourish. It's just like a friendship, right? Like if you don't keep in contact, then it'll just fade away. So if you find someone that you meet that is within your industry or is someone within your local community that's also an entrepreneur that you connect with, keep them around. Even if you think that, oh, this person, I don't know, this person sells flowers and I sell food. It doesn't correlate. Okay, maybe it doesn't, but they're still entrepreneurs and you're an entrepreneur. And I'm sure that you guys are going through similar things outside of the industry that you're in and what you sell. A lot of industries have very similar, ups and downs in a lot of different ways, and then also different ups and downs. And having that person's different perspective, like I said, is going to be so invaluable to you, because what if that person who is outside of your industry can help you switch up your industry and put it on its head altogether? How cool would that be? You being a game changer within your industry. And that's what startup businesses, that's what small businesses, that's what they do, because they want to be different, because they want to contribute something to their industry. Sometimes they have this amazing idea that's going to flip the industry on its head. And that could be you. Every time a small business opens, it changes the game a little bit. One thing that I take pride in within our business is, at the time when we first opened in 2008. Yeah, 2008. There were no Filipino food establishments where we were opening that were proud to be Filipino. Other places might have been Filipino owned, but they maybe sold Chinese food, or they weren't, they were Filipino owned by culture, but they weren't selling anything that was ethnically Filipino, right? And so we were one of the first in our communities to get out of the densely populated Filipino area and want to open in a, predominantly, let's say, multicultural area, right? There is a lot of different ethnicities, not just Filipinos, in the area where we first opened. And the reason why I say that there was a crab mentality was we got a lot of criticism of like, why don't you just open where there's a lot more Filipinos? You'll probably be more successful that way. And I challenged that thought, or we as a family challenged that thought, because we were like, well, there's already a bunch of Filipino places out there. Why can't they just go to the ones that they already know? Right? I mean, that makes sense. A lot of people, especially in 2008 at that time, weren't like, the idea of small business and a new place opening up wasn't that exciting at the time. It was more like, oh, I'm just going to go to what I know because I know it's good. And that's, for the most part, how people shopped and bought. And those were the buying patterns of a lot of people. But thankfully it's changed a lot now. Now it's like, ooh, a new place. This is exciting. Let's go give them a chance. Let's go check it out. People are more adventurous and more bold and more willing to try new things now. And I'm really proud that we stuck to our guns instead of taking that criticism and being like, dang it. Yeah, we probably should have opened where it was more densely populated and people could identify with our culture. That probably would have been the easier route, right? But we didn't. And we were like, no, the whole reason why we want to do this isn't to just reach people of our own culture. We want to spread our culture. We want to share our culture with people that aren't from the Philippines. We want to share it with other ethnicities because we're already doing that in LA because we're so diverse here. I had a best friend growing up from Chile. I had a best friend who was Irish. And they ate my food. They ate Filipino food whenever they would, sleep over at my house. And I would eat their food whenever I would sleep over at their house, right? And so people already knew about it, but it wasn't happening just yet for the Filipino food scene and for a lot of cultures in general. Their own people's own people would go to those food establishments. And so I'm really proud that we decided to stick to it and not listen to that criticism and believe in the idea that we had something to offer other people of other cultures. And we did, because a lot of people started coming in, and I would see our dining room filled with, not just Filipinos. It was a good mix of other cultures. And it almost felt like a welcoming place for the families that were half Filipino and half something else. And it was just nice to see that diversity in our dining room versus just it being filled with one culture. It felt uniting. It felt really good to push the envelope. And it felt really good to know that if I really believed in something, even if everyone was doubting or criticizing or just saying that it might have been a mistake, I followed my heart and just stuck with it. And yeah, it might have been the harder route, but definitely, it was definitely worth it in the end, all the hard work, because that gratification to see and look out into the dining room and see that, it just brought it all full circle, right? So I wouldn't have been able to do that without community, without putting myself out there and just believing that hopefully it wasn't, everyone that I met wasn't just there to criticize or want to pull me down. I wanted to believe that there were other people out there that believed in the concept, that believed in us as a family, that encouraged us as a family, but was also real with us when we needed it, and all of that. And I found them. And I'm so blessed and grateful that I did, because for so long I felt so alone. And the only reason, to be honest with you, and of course, my family is a huge part of why our business has become what it is today. But I have to tell you, a huge, huge part of it was the community that we created outside of my family. It's the people we met through the networking events, through the interviews, through the press that we got over time. And the more people I met, the more opportunities came around. The more people I met, the more people I would know that could help me solve a problem that we might be experiencing, or that could teach me about what they did to help their business in certain aspects that I didn't know about. And then same goes for me. We all went through our own path, but if someone had gone to me and was like, oh, I'm struggling with this issue, and if I had experience going through the same thing and I was able to get through to the other end, if they wanted my advice, I could, without any strings attached, like I said, help them in that way. And there are so many times where I felt like we were up against a wall and there was no more room to move back, to be able to stretch our limbs. We started feeling like we were getting cornered and we couldn't figure out the answers on our own. And in the past, I would have just internalized it, or we would have internalized it as a family and not said anything to anyone, because also there's this fear of looking like a failure, right? Because then once again, you're going to get criticized. They're going to say, I told you so. But if you have that right community around you and you're vulnerable and you're honest and you're real, you'd be surprised the goodness that comes out of those people that are really, truly for you. And they'll give and they'll give and they'll give without any expectation. As long as you're grateful and you're thankful, and when it's your turn to return that favor, you'll do the same. You'll give and you'll give without any expectation in return. And I'm so, so grateful, because there's obviously numerous times in an entrepreneur's journey and life where you're backed into a corner and you have no idea what to do. You're on the brink of tears and you're terrified. And my community has come out for me in droves. And so this episode is dedicated to them, because it's just so humbling. And I'm so glad that I found people that I could be honest with and not afraid to share how hard it was, or the realities of what we were going through and how bad it had really gotten, without judgment, because that takes a lot too. So to be able to take it and hold space for me to be able to let it out was also just a huge, huge help and a burden off of my shoulders that in the past, when I was alone, had to carry by myself. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful for the community. And I can't tell you enough how important it is. But it takes work. You need to find them. You need to cultivate those relationships. You need to make an effort. An entrepreneur will never be able to do it on their own. At some level you can, but if you want growth, if you want scale, if you want all the things to really grow your business to a place where it will just, the sky's the limit, you need to create just a squad, a community around you that can support you and help you find resources. That's just the honest truth. It's just like having a kid. It's all about that community that's going to help you, and doing it from a loving place. It's just nothing like it. Anyway, so that's my rant about that. But thank you guys for listening. If you are looking for a community, I'm here for you. The information on how to join our community is down in the description below. There is an application process to join. It's absolutely free though. We just want to make sure that you're like-minded and you're looking for a positive community, and that's what you're going to be bringing to the table. So if you're looking for a cute pop-up community that's growing, information is down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's Prep Talk live show. I will see you next Monday. And until then, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care. Bye.